It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. The pressures and activities of daily life can wreak havoc on a love relationship. Expressing emotion on a consistent basis can fall to the side, and the things that say I love you don't get said or don't get through. According to today's guest, Dr. Gary Chapman, each one of us has a primary love language, which when spoken, fills up our emotional love tank. And when we learn to speak a partner's primary love language, the love we share will be exciting beyond anything we have ever felt before. Dr. Chapman is here today to help us identify, understand, and learn how to speak a partner's primary love language. He is a speaker and counselor and the author of the 5 Love Languages series. Welcome, Dr. Chapman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Joan. It's great to be with you.
Dr. Chapman, I'm so happy that you're here because this is really such an important topic, especially in light of the current divorce rate statistics. And in the opening of your book, The 5 Love Languages, you write about a question that I believe so many people want answered. And I believe they want this answered because many who are part of a failed relationship really did try. I mean, they gave it everything that they had. And when the relationship ended, they didn't really understand what went wrong. So I want to begin with that question. What happens to love after the wedding?
Well, I think, Joan, we've studied the in-love phenomena where we are swept along with these powerful emotions. But the average lifespan of that high is 2 years, and we come down off the high. But many couples are not aware of that. I was not aware of that. Mm-hmm. So when I came down off the high, and my wife and I had been dating for 2 years before we got married. So I came down pretty soon after the honeymoon. And our differences emerged and we began arguing with each other. And before long, we didn't like each other. And I think this is what happens. People are not anticipating that they will come down off the high. They think if they have the real thing, it's going to last forever. Mm-hmm. And the reality is when we come down off the high, we have to now learn how to intentionally love each other, or what I call the love tank, the emotional love tank, will get empty. And when the love tank is empty and we begin arguing with each other and we say hurtful things, in a while, we don't even want to be with each other. So I think that's what happens in many, many marriages.
Doctor, is it enough for one person in the relationship to have his or her love tank be filled? Sometimes you have the one partner who reads these books and who wants to really make the relationship work and the other person doesn't. So is that enough to make it last?
Well, one person cannot create a good marriage, but one person can greatly influence their spouse. Let's face it, we are influencing each other, either negatively or positively, almost every day by the things we say and things we do. But because we so deeply need love, when you speak the love language of the other person and you do it consistently, you are beginning to get through to them that you genuinely love them. And there's something inside of them that responds to that. And they tend to respond then to speak your language. Now, you're exactly right. Often, one person reads my book, and they learn their love language, learn the spouse's love language. They try to speak it, and nothing happens. At least they don't see anything happening. And what I say is this. After you have spoken their language consistently every week for, say, 2 or 3 months, then you can start making requests of them. They may not automatically respond, but if you start saying to them at that juncture, honey, could you think you could vacuum the floor for me this afternoon? There's a good chance they'll do it because they have been feeling love from you. Mm-hmm. And now you're giving them guidance as to what they could do if they choose to do. And many times they will respond to your request. So you can really teach the other person to speak your love language, even when they haven't read the book, have no idea what's going on, but you are influencing them by the power of love. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone will respond, Joan. It's no question about it. There are some people, you can love them in their love language, but their wires are so crossed, or they have such anger or hurt or depression or whatever, that they don't respond. But I do believe it's the most powerful thing you can do to influence your spouse. Speak their love language.
I want to talk about these 5 love languages briefly. The first one, quality time. What does that mean?
It means giving your spouse your undivided attention. It's not simply being in the same room, sitting on the couch watching television. Someone else has your attention. I'm talking about sitting on the couch, TV off, looking at each other, talking, interfacing, or taking a walk down the road and talking with each other, or going out to eat, assuming that you talk to each other, which is not always the case. But it's giving the person your undivided attention. Really, it doesn't always have to involve conversation. It can be planting a flower garden together or some other activity. But the important thing about the activity is not the activity. It's that we are doing this together. So it's really focusing your attention on each other.
So, Doctor, the next one, words of affirmation. That's when someone needs to hear verbal compliments in order to feel loved.
Yes. You look nice in that outfit. Really appreciate what you did. One of the things I like about you are just the words, I love you, spoken sincerely. And for some people, words are powerful. In fact, there's an ancient Hebrew proverb that says life and death is in the power of the tongue. We can kill each other, or we can give each other life by the way we talk to each other. So, yes, for some people, if they don't receive affirming words, they don't feel loved. You can give them gifts and other things, but those are meaningless to them. What they're looking for is verbal affirmation.
Okay, so Doctor, you just mentioned the next one, and that's gifts. What does that encompass?
It's actually giving gifts to the person. It's universal to give gifts as an expression of love. We have never discovered a culture where gift giving is not an expression of love. It's universal. The gift says, they were thinking about me. Look what they got for me. And it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to have money to give gifts. You can get a free flower in your backyard. But, it's a matter of thinking about the person and what they might like, and then choosing to get that, whether you purchase it or whether you find it as you're walking on a trail. But you give them something as an expression, I was thinking about you when I was away.
Okay, Doctor, so the fourth language then, acts of service.
Doing things for the other person that they would like for you to do. In a marriage, that is such things as cooking a meal. That's a huge act of service. Or washing dishes, vacuuming floors, walking the dog, changing the baby's diaper. Anything that the other person would like. The old saying, Joan, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
It's true for these people. It's not true for everyone, but it's true for these people. If this is their love language, actions will speak louder than words.
And the final one, physical touch.
Physical touch. In a marriage relationship, that is such things as holding hands, kissing, embracing, the whole sexual part of the marriage, arm around the shoulder, driving down the road, you put your hand on their leg, by physical touch. So it's a powerful language of love.
How do we know which is our language, and how can we figure out what our partner responds to?
We can receive love in all 5 languages. That is, almost anyone would find these things to be meaningful. However, one of them typically stands out above the others. And here are 3 clues for yourself or for someone else. Observe their behavior. If they're always giving people a pat on the back or high fives, then you may think and consider maybe that's their love language. If they're always giving gifts to people, then that may be their language. Or if they're always giving other people encouraging words. So observe their behavior and observe your own behavior. Secondly, what do they complain about most often? The complaint reveals the love language. If a spouse says, for example, we just don't spend any time together. I feel like we're 2 ships passing in the night. They're telling you quality time is their language. Or if you go on a business trip and you come home and they say, you didn't bring me anything? They're telling you gifts is their love language. Or if they say, I don't think you would ever touch me if I didn't initiate it. They're telling you physical touch is their language. You see, we tend to get defensive if a spouse complains. But really, they're giving us valuable information. And then the third clue is, what do they request most often? If they're saying periodically, can we take a walk after dinner? Or can we go out to dinner? Or do you think we could get a weekend away? They're asking you for quality time. Or if you start to go on a business trip and they say, be sure and bring me a surprise, they're telling you that gifts is their love language. If you put those three together, Joan, observe their behavior, what do they complain about, and what do they request, you can pretty well figure out a person's primary love language.
Okay, so Dr. Chapman, now we figure out the love language of our partner. What can we expect to have happen?
I think what happens is when we make the conscious choice to try to speak the other person's language, we begin to communicate love in a way that touches them emotionally, and their emotional love tank begins to fill up. They begin to genuinely feel loved by you. And over a period of time, their behavior begins to change, typically, because when a person is being loved, because they so desperately need love, they are drawn to the person who is loving them. So it's a powerful way of doing, and they say it's a meaningful way of doing what you really may already be doing. You know, you probably are already speaking some of these languages, but if you're speaking your own language and not their language, they're not getting it emotionally. And the love languages helps you communicate love effectively.
The book is The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. We have only touched upon this subject, so if you would like to learn more about this topic, the book, or Dr. Chapman, you can visit the website 5lovelanguages.com, and that's the number 5, 5lovelanguages.com. Dr. Chapman, thank you so much for being here. This information has saved so many relationships, and hopefully with our listeners having this knowledge will save even more. So I'm so happy that you were here today to help teach us how to create loving, lasting relationships.
Well, thank you, Joan. It was great to be with you.
We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joan Herman, host of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Did you know that Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox? Every month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide information to educate, inspire, and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. Check out a copy of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life 24/7. Visit cyacyl.com and be sure to tell your friends. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read the digital magazine, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.